Uh-oh.
Like Rhiannon Dixon obviously doing fantastically well at the moment. She needs a marquee fight really to really raise that profile and go to the next level. Terry Harper, a tough fight last time out against Sandy Ryan. I think she's just looking, it's one thing being that weight, it's another thing being strong at the weight. And I feel like lightweight, it might be difficult for her with the size she's put on, 140, but they feel confident they can make it. And if she can get to 135 effectively, I think she will be much more effective. And I think a fight between Rhiannon Dixon and Terry Harper makes great sense. Both popular, both sell a lot of tickets. For Terry, it would almost be like a last roll of the dice, in all honesty. I mean, when you look back, I still see Terry as, a young woman who's kind of starting out the sport. But when you look at it, she's been around quite a long time. Really since the beginning of the resurgence of female boxing. But if she loses, she'd come off a draw against Brackhouse, a loss against Ryan. If she lost against Rhiannon Dixon, that might be it, So she must win that fight. It's a very, very competitive fight.
I think it would be bad optics to put Terry in there straight away with Rhiannon because Terry's still coming off that lopsided loss to Sandy. You want to at least give the fighter a chance to get back in the winner's bracket to show the audience that they've still got it and they can still compete. If you put Terry in there without a bounce-back fight in between, I don't know how much merit that's going to warrant if Rhiannon Dixon wins. Well, then it's just going to look like Terry Harper was in a downward spiral. She was in a bad way.
One idea?
One suggestion. You don't put Terry in there with Rhiannon straight away. You let her fight Jessica Kamara for what could be the newly vacated WBA title. You pull some strings and finagle a situation where Terry gets to fight for a title at 135 before she fights Rhiannon for hers, so that when she does, it's for 2 alphabet titles and not just one.
Build it up.
Let Terry fight Jessica Kamara for what could be a newly vacated WBA title, the one that Katie Taylor still holds, but she's not going to hold forever. Sooner or later, she's going to vacate it. If and when she does, let them fight for it, and let the winner of that fight Rhiannon Dixon.
Say Terry wins.
You make Harper versus Kamaria, and Terry Harper comes out on top. Terry Harper wins, becomes a 3-division champion.
Now you're cooking with rice.
Between Terry Harper's experience, because she is a vastly more experienced fighter than Rhiannon Dixon. She's been around the block with some of the best fighters at 130, some of the best at 154. Things didn't work out at 147.
Between Terry's experience and Rhiannon Dixon's youth and freshness and fast hands, fast feet, this could be a hell of a fight.
I want to say that Terry Harper is the stronger puncher of the two, but I don't know that I can say that when Terry's moving down in weight. We don't actually know how she'll arrive at 135.
She can probably get there as far as making the weight, but performing, that's something else. Being match fit.
Like how Devin Haney was making 135. Yeah, he was making the weight. He made the weight, but he didn't have no pop, no power, and he couldn't hold a shot. Is that how Terry's going to make it to 135? Where she can get there,
but she ain't got no pop.
And she can't hold a shot.
Yeesh.
I want to say that Terry Harper's very best punches are her straight punches from the outside coming in when she has room enough to get the arm out.
Snap out the jab, snap out the right.
Where Rhiannon Dixon is more of a mid-range to inside fighter. Good combination puncher in short bursts. Mid-range to inside. Rhiannon, she's a southpaw, where Terry Harper is an orthodox fighter. Terry's a little taller and a little longer. She's got a lot of meat in those thighs.
That's where the power comes from her solid base.
Rhiannon has a solid base, too. I want to say Rhiannon is a bit more fidgety, more herky-jerky than Terry Harper.
It's an even fight.
I think it's an even fight. Between Terry Harper's experience and Rhiannon Dixon's youth and freshness, it's an even fight where both fighters stand a chance.
The consequences.
A loss wouldn't hurt Rhiannon as much as it would hurt Terry, because for Rhiannon, that would be the first professional loss in what is still a very young boxing career, and she's still very young, so she can rebound. I think a loss would hurt Terry a lot more, because for Terry, that would be her third professional loss. She suffered her first at the hands of Alicia Baumgartner at 130, her second at the hands of Sandy Ryan more recently at 147. Now that she's dropping down to 135, if she loses there too,
Well, that ain't good.
for Terry Harper, this is a lot more make or break than it is for Rhiannon. I think it is. For Rhiannon, this is not as risky a fight as some other fights that are out there. I'd give Rhiannon better odds against Terry than I would against Beatrice Ferreira. I'd give Rhiannon better odds against Terry than I would against Caroline Dubois.
Better odds.
It's not saying there are no risks associated with this fight. That's saying that this fight is not as risky as some other fights.
See if they make it.
Do they make it straight away, or do they give Terry Harper a rebound fight in between? We'll see what happens. Elsewhere in the world of boxing, the ongoing saga involving Ryan Garcia and his subsequent suspension, the fallout, WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman said, "Many are asking how will the World Boxing Council punish Ryan Garcia? We don't care to punish him. We want to help Ryan, the human being. He is suffering, going through difficulties."
Yeah, because he tested positive for a banned substance. What's your stance on that?
This is not a matter of boxing.
What?
This is not a matter of boxing. Ryan needs immediate support and attention now. Champ, we are here for you.
What do you mean, champ? He's never even been a champion before. With you or anybody.
Proof positive of what I've told you for years. The sport of boxing doesn't actually know if it wants to be a clean sport or not. Though if you use Mauricio Sulaiman's stance, or the lack thereof, as evidence of anything, is that some people are okay with it. Hell, some people are complicit with doping in the sport of boxing. Because what you're saying is, you wouldn't issue out a punishment to Ryan if you could, because he's going through something. He's having a hard time.
Well, when you test positive for a banned substance, that happens.
How useless is the president of a sanctioning body in the sport of boxing that says this is not a matter of boxing?
You're saying when a guy tests positive for a banned substance in a boxing match, it's not a matter of boxing.
Huh?
How so?
It is a matter of boxing. It has everything to do with boxing. It has everything to do with Ryan's test samples ahead of the boxing match he had with Devin Haney. And you, as the president of an alphabet organization within the sport of boxing, are expected to have a stance. Do you want a clean sport or not?
When you partnered up with the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association to create the Clean Boxing program, what exactly were you trying to clean up if this is how you behave in this situation? Or are you such a gutless, spineless, insignificant, sniveling little brown-noser that you're gonna kiss up to Ryan Garcia even though he's been suspended?
Why?
Well, Mauricio would have you believe that he's judging Ryan's situation based on the content of his character, when what he's really doing is judging it based on the contents of his wallet.
That's all it is. He knows that, guilty or not, suspended or not, Ryan Garcia's popular, Ryan's a draw, he's worth some money, and he doesn't want to rock the boat. He wants to accommodate him as much as he can, so long as he can, so when he comes back, he's in their good graces, and they're on his good side.
That's what it is.
You already saw this before, years ago, when Canelo Alvarez tested positive for clenbuterol. Before the subsequent investigation that followed, before that even wrapped, before any of that was concluded, and the merits of the investigation were evaluated, Mauricio was ready to take a bullet for the guy. He was saying he was innocent before he could even be proven innocent.
Why?
Same reason he's doing it for Ryan. Because he's popular. It's all about popularity. It's all about the money.
So in other words, you don't care if a guy's cheating or might be cheating. You don't even care if he's suspended so long as he's popular.
Well, isn't that your stance with Alicia Baumgartner? You don't care if she might have been cheating or not.
No, because she's hot, because she's attractive. Is that the logic they're using for Ryan? They don't want to judge him because they find him attractive?
Is that why you guys are defending him? You guys in the comment section of my videos whenever I talk about this, is that why you're defending Ryan? Because you find him attractive like I find Alicia attractive. Because then it would all make sense.
You want to frolic in the forest naked with Ryan playing hide the peanut butter.
Tell you what, I don't ever want to hear any Ryan Garcia fans stand on their soapbox hopping about doping in the sport of boxing.
Clearly, you guys don't care.
So long as it involves a fighter you like, a fighter you're in favor of, you're going to turn a blind eye to everything, so just call it what it is. You don't care if he cheated, because it's obvious that he cheated. You just don't care.
You bozos keep trying to play devil's advocate like you're really convincing somebody of something.
Just come out with it. You don't care if he cheated, because it's obvious that he cheated.
You just don't care, and neither does the WBC.
You are complicit with doping in the sport of boxing so long as it involves a fighter that you like. In the case of the WBC, it's so long as it's a fighter they can capitalize off of.
Try to.
I say try to because Ryan Garcia doesn't fight for belts and he doesn't fight for legacy. How many times have you heard him say that belts don't matter? And that's the business that the WBC is in, trying to keep their belt in circulation by siphoning sanctioning fees from the fighters' fights. But in the case of Ryan, he doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about your belt.
So what are you kissing up to him for?
You kiss up to him. You glorify doping in the sport of boxing. You glorify missing the weight and missing it on purpose.
Because he said it was on purpose. I'm not making that up. I'm not paraphrasing. Those are his words.
And you're okay with that because he's supposedly going through something. What is he going through?
Strict liability.
The athlete is responsible for whatever finds its way into their system. That's what he's going through. That's what's going on.
And that's why you're sympathetic.
Because underneath it all, you might have come up with the clean boxing program, but you don't actually want a cleaner sport.
Just another hypocrite in the sport of boxing.
Finally, upstairs in the cruiserweight division, Canada's own Ryan Rozicki said, "I won't be a boxer for much longer. The business isn't for me. I'd rather be a club fighter and fight every weekend for peanuts rather than sit around and wait for quote-unquote big fights and big money. I got into this life because I needed a place I could fight without getting locked up for it. Now I'm at this level, I'm doing more negotiating, waiting around for businessmen to do their thing. Nah, it ain't for me. The belts and the money is all they want. The fame and shit too. Not me. I want to scrap. I want to take the stitches out Friday and get more on Sunday. I want to wake up after a battle and throw my bloody bed sheets in the washer every weekend."
A violent man.
I didn't get into boxing for any other reason, and I don't like it at the top. Fighters change when they see the dollar signs and cameras. Not me. I got in front of the cameras, and I had nothing to say. I realized right then and there, this is not for me. I ain't gonna be that guy who fights once a year and demands all this money. Not the life I'm after. I need more fights. 5, 10 a year minimum. I don't care who, I don't care what weight, and I don't care what titles are on the line. It's all irrelevant to me. I think Bare Knuckle is calling my name.
What's he talking about?
Well, he was supposed to be fighting WBC Cruiserweight champion Noel Gevor on the undercard of Broner versus Cobbs. But Noel Gevor reportedly pulled out due to a cut. That was weeks ago. Weeks later, now what he's saying is, "I look forward to unifying against Billam-Smith in Britain, because boxing in Britain is the biggest right now. British fans are great, and I would love to fight there."
Ryan Rozicki caught wind of these comments. He posted them on his social media and he says, "They are all ducking me. Literally. This is a joke."
He's not happy.
So I don't know if you guys saw my last post, but like the champion, the WBC Cruiserweight champion that I was scheduled to fight is already talking about fighting other fighters. So the guy's scheduled to fight me June 7th. We were supposed to fight a couple weeks ago, and he pulls out of the fight with a small cut over his eye, which I've had multiple cuts within the last couple months. Anyways, no big deal. Thought the fight was going to be rescheduled within a month, so I'm not worried about it. Next thing you know, crickets. They're not responding, nothing. They won't give me a new date to fight. And all of a sudden, this guy's talking about fighting other fighters. What the do you think just happened? I just got straight up ducked, and I hope everybody saw it. Boxing is legitimate a fucking joke, and half of the fucking so-called champions in this sport are the softest motherfuckers I've ever seen. So anyway, I've taken a couple seconds here to cool down because it actually makes me so fucking mad, because I've given so much of my life to this fucking sport to be just ducked and dodged like I'm some kind of fucking animal, because I'm not a fucking animal. I'm not a fucking animal. I'm a human being, and I need to make money just like everybody else needs to make money. And this fight It was gonna literally help my life so much and the people I care about. Like, you guys don't even understand. This fucking fight was gonna do so much for my life and people around it and the people I need to support. Anyway, it doesn't matter because I lost. I believe I lost the fight. I don't think I'm getting this fight, and maybe the WBC will prove me wrong. But I think that they're gonna find a way out of this fight, and I'm gonna end up having to just fight somebody else, and I don't give a fuck who. So that's why I've been calling out that bare knuckle champion Mike Perry, little bitch. That's why I've been a little bit crazy on social media because
Time has proven me right, and I don't expect Nova Scotia's own Ryan Rozicki to be happy about it. Ahead of the fight, before Noel Gevor pulled out, I figured, this is a dangerous fight. It's a difficult fight, difficult for the both of them. But Noel has something to lose. He's the champion. And when news broke that he got cut,
Pulled out.
I didn't buy it. I didn't believe him. I still don't believe him. What I think happened is he might have started talking to somebody else. Now, I thought maybe it's Zurdo Ramirez. Now that Zurdo's got a belt, he might want to unify with somebody, and Noel Gevor is there. I didn't figure it was Chris Billam-Smith.
Noel Gavor's eyeing Chris Billam-Smith.
What I think is going on, he tells himself, yeah, there's the Ryan guy. That looks like it's going to be a hard fight. And the Chris Billam-Smith fight might be a hard fight too. But Sky Sports is going to pay me a lot more money to fight him than Don King would to fight Ryan at a bingo hall.
At a high school auditorium. On Adrian Broner's undercard.
Give me a break.
I'm ambivalent. Because I'm all for champions fighting other champions. I'm all for consolidation and unification matches. But I can't blame Ryan Rozicki for being angry about it. Of course he's angry about it. He worked himself up to this point, and now look.
No shot.
Maybe he should hit up Jai Opataya. I don't think Jai would give him the runaround. I don't think Jai would shy away from a challenge. Maybe he should see about fighting him. It's not like the champions are in any hurry to fight him.
You two have got the same problem, with the difference being there's a lot of money behind him, and he's got a belt. He's got a belt you can fight for, the red one, instead of the green one.
It's a more difficult fight, though.
So I figured that Ryan Rozicki stands a better chance of beating Noel Gevor for his green belt than Jai Opataya for his red one. See, that's the thing. That Jai's available, Jai is out there, and he's got a belt, but it's a much more dangerous fight. The chances of victory are slim to nil, but he's out there, and Ryan doesn't seem too bothered about the risks.
And there are risks, but at the same time, I'd wager that he'd make a lot more money fighting Jai Opataya than what he stood to make fighting Noel Gevor at that bingo hall.
It's the way it is. Ryan Rozicki, if you've seen him, is best described as a mid-range to inside pressure fighter, volume puncher. He's a slugger. He's tough, he's got a chin, and he can crack.
So can Jai.
Jai's a better boxer, though. A much better boxer. He's also a southpaw.
But I could go for that.
I wonder if Ryan Rozicki would go for that. Instead of Noel Gevor, fight Jai Opataya.
I knew this was going to happen.
Noel's not really injured. He's not really cut. He's just evaluating his options and going for the best one.